Now let's move on to something related to the tools itself. Um, you talked about one of your EQ tools, but a lot of organizations we've been working with have used some form of EQ assessment tools already, right? How is the Talent Smart EQ assessment and training programs different? That's part one. And how does it help organization manage issues like turnover?
Yeah, I think what makes us different is some of the simplicity and accessibility that I was referring to. Talent Smart EQ again has built an assessment from a self version to a 360 version to even a team version that in a brief period of time gives you some quick insights. And then I think most importantly, what's different is these prescriptive strategies that can get you practicing and doing something literally the same day you take the assessment or the same day you go through a training program. So it's very prescriptive. You identify these gaps or areas of opportunity or strengths that you want to continue to leverage. And each of those has specific strategies that you can start to understand and practice. And if you pick a couple of, we usually in our training program, we'll say just pick three strategies, no more than that, because there's many of these, and focus on those for the next 2 to 3 months and see what happens. And then maybe you have other strategies you want to follow up with. So maybe a lot of it is around self-awareness you want to focus on first, or maybe it's relationship management. You feel like you understand yourself well, but you're struggling with the team around you. There's a healthy amount of conflict, but it's not being resolved. And so there are specific strategies that kind of apply to each of those areas of opportunity or strength that you want to work on. So I think that's the biggest difference is keeping it simple, understandable. It's all research driven, and then actionable. And I think we're proud of the research we've put in over 20 years. Um, to have all the data points we have over 20 years helps us also refine and do comparative trends and just see if there's any new insights. And I think what we found, organizations around the world are struggling with their culture, struggling with turnover and attrition. And I think that the ability of leaders, managers, employees to improve relationships at work, to improve how they deal with kind of stress, how they work virtually, all those things result in an organization strengthening their culture and making it a more attractive place to work. And if it becomes a more attractive place to work, people want to stay. And as you know, and we talk about 50% turnover and situations like that in different countries and different industries, it's very easy to do a return on investment and see, gosh, if we can just reduce that turnover by X%, it will be worth an awful lot of money that we spend on recruiting and training and all those things. So the business case for training areas like emotional intelligence really are very quick to identify, especially when you're dealing with something as difficult and expensive as turnover.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree more because whether it is fresh hire or whether it is the existing team's development, EQ plays a very, very critical role.